This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
An exercise in futility. That's what NDTV Hindu finds out about the proposed Greenfield Airport in Sri Perumbudur.
According to civil aviation norms, no spot generating any kind of bird activity can lie within 13 kilometers of an airport.
And not just environmentalists, even the Indian Navy may object to the Airports of India Authority plan. Many Navy veterans unhappy with the project.
Is perhaps asking for disaster to happen.
Jayalalitha's election bandwagon continues to roll. She gets 2 new parties on board, all in a bid to wean away Dalits and Muslims from the DMK. Police finally arrest the man who killed this woman after being denied sex by her. As the city gets its dose of intermittent rainfall, it's raining mosquitoes too all over Chennai.
The Stramon train kaga thonnu mattum 3 months we are proposed to complete that work.
You're watching the Late Night News. Welcome, I'm Sai Manish. All details of those stories coming your way. Before that, let's have a look at the headlines being made in India and across the world. As Sonia Gandhi warns of action against corruption, senior government officials take over the preparation of key areas. Kalmadi says he's not affected. Mamata Banerjee spews venom in parliament, says she's not the only one answerable to the nation.
Railway Ministry is trying their best. I am nobody. I am just working as cleric clerk.
And not just Mamata, Sharad Pawar too shoots off his mouth, says the rotting grain in the country cannot be given free to the poor. Obama tells Pakistan, shed your ego, accept the aid from India, your people need it. And check out this super stunt by Roger Federer, but please do not try this at home. Well, apart from all the uproar, the political focus and the battle over the land acquisition for the proposed Greenfield Airport in Sri Perumbudur, there are doubts being raised by civil aviation experts over the very sensibility and practicality of having another airport for Chennai, that too in this proposed site. And this after the Airport Authority of India has given its thumbs up for the airport at that very site in Sri Perumbudur. NDTV Hindu in fact probes the feasibility of this project.
It's not just the fury of the people and political infighting that are causing turbulences for the proposed Greenfield Airport in Chennai. There are safety issues involved in the very idea of constructing an airport at this spot in Sri Perumbudur. First, it's the proximity to the Vedantangal Bird Sanctuary.
According to civil aviation norms, no spot generating any kind of bird activity can lie within 13 kilometers of an airport. Now, the Vedantangal Bird Sanctuary does not lie in that 13-kilometer radius, but experts say that the migratory path of the birds which flock to Vedantangal during winter is such that it will almost definitely pass through the Sri Perumbudur area, which also houses a lake.
And that is not just a safety issue, but could also lead to a potential ecological disaster. Moreover, there are 3 nearby installations which will create a problem for an airport at this site. This is where the new airport is to be constructed. On one side is the Arakonam Naval Air Base INS Rajali, and on the other side is the Tambram Air Force Base. If the present Chennai airport remains, then that will also be near the site. Experts say these air facilities near the planned airport will only allow a narrow corridor for flights to land and could lead to accidents. The Airports Authority of India has given a go-ahead to this project, but experts rubbish this green signal.
I think it is just something done to please someone in power. It is not based on safety or what is required as per ICAO standards.
The International Civil Aviation Organization is yet to summon its pre-feasibility report, which has been due for over a year now, perhaps indicating that the site is not safe enough for an airport. Ramanathan for NDTV Hindu.
But then environment is just one part of it, and NDTV Hindu's Ramanathan also gives you a lowdown on why the Indian Navy and Air Force will be terribly uncomfortable with the idea of having the Greenfield Airport right in their operational domain.
There are three major hurdles when it comes to the location of the proposed airport, and that due to the existence of the three air bases near the proposed site: the INS Rajali Naval Air Base to its west, the Tambram IAF base to its southeast, and the Chennai Airport to its east. The first hurdle, the evident lack of foresight by the Airports Authority of India, might have rubbed the Indian Armed Forces the wrong way. This new airport is right next to INS Rajali, a key base from where the Navy's Tupolovs, the soon-to-be inducted Poseidons, keep an eye over the entire littoral area of the Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean. That means naval air controllers will have to constantly communicate with their civilian counterparts to prevent trespassing. Now, the second big hurdle, the aviation experts have pointed out, and something you would be easily able to comprehend, is the clutter effect. Flights approaching and landing from the proposed Greenfield Airport have no clear front. This translates into constant communication between air traffic controllers, and not just the Navy and the airport, but also the two airports itself. Now, add to that the no-fly zone over the Tambram Air Force Station and the lack of infrastructure and technology to deal with such heightened flight activity. Now, what does this mean for pilots? The third hurdle. The scenario is as nightmarish for pilots as it is for air traffic controllers. With a naval airbase on one side, the bustling commercial airport and a no-fly zone on another, and thus little room to play around, the pilot will have to do an extremely steep descent. Landing is accomplished by slowing down and descending to the runway gradually. This might not be possible here, thus increasing the chances of human error or equipment failure leading to accidents. With Sai Manish Ramanathan for NDTV Hindu.
And we earlier spoke to a former Air Force naval veteran, in fact, Commodore Vasan, who gave us his perspective on how this idea would be a disaster.
We already had many near misses in Bombay, close to Delhi, close to Bangalore, and all this is happening because of the way we manage our airspace. So I think we should not be complicating matters for the people who are in the business. We should make it easy for them. This is possible today, of course, with the technology levels that are available, plus a certain amount of operational procedures that are integrated. But I think that from the naval point of view, we also know that they are going to replace the Tu-142M aircraft, which is presently located in Rajali, with a better Boeing-based aircraft called the Poseidon. P8I is what they are saying. And when these aircraft are located there, they will initially require a phenomenal amount of airspace for training the initial lot of crew in just circuits and landing. So circuits, landing and takeoff are critical operations which requires enormous amount of airspace for a big aircraft like that, which has a large turning radius. So in this climate, if you also have other civil aircraft flying in and out of Sri Perumbudur, then you know that you are creating scenarios and situations for people who are involved in this business of flying. And also remember that Rajali has helicopter training school, and they train something like 15 to 20 pilots in each batch from the Navy, from the Coast Guard. And these people require dedicated airspace management to ensure that they are become proficient in landings, takeoffs, and carrying out various procedures which will equip them to fly helicopters not only from shore but also from ships. So the Navy has critical requirements, and to introduce another airfield and also load up the airspace with additional aircraft is perhaps asking for a disaster to happen.
Also, India's best-known aviation expert, Captain Mohan Ranganathan, told NDTV Hindu that the Airports Authority of India failed to take into account even the basics of aviation.
I won't pay too much attention to the green signal given by Airport Authority of India. After all, they gave the green signal for Mangalore and Calicut, which in my opinion do not conform to many standards required by ICAO. And we've already had one major accident in Mangalore. So AI gives the clearance based on their political patronage. So they only take the decision to please someone who's in power. I would rather go by what ICAO gives. If they give the green signal, then I would say that it conforms to standards.
Now, Jayalalitha has reasons to cheer of late, and today also she had quite a bit to cheer about. Her informal talks on the possible political alliance with two leaders is thought to be successful. The move will further help the morale of the party, which has seen large turnouts at recent rallies, not just in Trichy but Coimbatore as well.
In the past 2 weeks, Jayalalitha's AIADMK has successfully added two small political groups to the opposition bloc it heads. Krishnaswamy's Pudhiya Tamilagam and M. H. Javahirullah's Manithaneya Makkal Katchi are expected to help sway the electorate in the southern districts and also win the support of Muslims when the state votes to choose a new government next year.
It is almost a family rule which is prevailing in Tamil Nadu. The people have been taken for a ride. The law and order machinery has failed miserably, and definitely the Tamil Nadu people are yearning for a change. We will be very happy to be part of the ADMK-led alliance.
The PMK's open confrontation with the DMK and the CPM's joint actions with the AIADMK has also reduced speculation that these parties are warming up to the DMK.
Going for joint action with the ADMK on people's issues. For example, on April 27th, against price raise, we have joined to raise our voice. There is a hartal all over the country, including Tamil Nadu also. On July 5th also, on the same issue, we have joined hands with the ADMK, MDMK, CPI, other parties.
அரசியல்ல எது வேணாலும் நடக்கலாம். நிரந்தர எதிரிகளும் கிடையாது, நிரந்தர நண்பர்களும் கிடையாதுன்னு ஒரு வசனம் தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு இருந்து இந்தியாவுக்கும் அது பொருந்தும். அந்த வசனம் இருக்கு.
The expanding opposition bloc of the AIADMK could pose a challenge to the DMK, especially issues directly concerning the common man adds to the anti-incumbency factor ahead of the elections. In Chennai with Peer Mohammed, J. Santosh for NDTV Hindu.
Well, crimes of passion is not just a phenomena in the upper strata of society, and as the Chennai police discovered, a construction worker hacked and cut his lover to death. This after she refused to have sex with him. Now the police are trying to straddle a thin line, wondering how to prevent bedroom crimes from spilling over into the streets. Salim reports.
Silence fell over this construction site in Selayur after a 40-year-old labourer named Mary was stabbed to death by a 37-year-old man who worked at the same site. The suspected killer, Radhakrishnan, who was drunk at the time, stabbed Mary in the neck when she resisted his sexual advances. A police team interviewed more than 100 people known to Mary and a suspected murderer before a breakthrough came in the investigation. Radhakrishnan was arrested in Arani and sent to the prison in Purel near Chennai. Police say he was already wanted for involvement in an illicit liquor case in 2004. Married twice, his first wife committed suicide and his second wife died from illness. He has 3 children. Police say his victim Mary is the mother of 5 children and she had left her husband many years ago. In Chennai, Salim for NDTV Hindu.
Now, if you've been enjoying the unseasonal showers in Chennai, remember there's a flip side too. The city has also been reeling under deadly attacks from mosquitoes, whose peak breeding season too has begun slightly earlier this year. Many government departments have dug up roads in several parts of the city to lay new drainage pipes or electricity cables. As Pratik Shah reports, these trenches get filled up with rains when it rains, in fact, a perfect setting for these winged missiles to breed.
Quite an eyesore at a posh colony in Chennai. The residents here have sleepless nights. That's because of these mosquito breeding grounds. For about 2 months, residents of Alwarpet and Mylapore have had to put up with the obstacle courses outside their residences as roads have been dug up by the drainage board and the electricity department officials.
Prithivani, Bawa Street இதெல்லாம் வந்து ஸ்ட்ராமா ட்ரெயின் கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷனுக்காக நோண்டி இருக்கிறோம். இப்போ மற்ற இடத்துல இந்த லெஸ்ஸெர்ச் ரோடு, தேசிகா ஸ்ட்ரீட்டு, இன் அண்ட் அரௌண்ட் தட் ஸ்ட்ரீட்ஸ் எல்லாம் வந்து டிஎன்இபி கேபிள் லேயிங்காக பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. இந்த ஸ்ட்ராமா ட்ரெயினுக்காக தோணும் மட்டும் ஒரு 3 monthsல we are proposed to complete that work.
Now that's an alarming statement. In less than 3 months, the northeast monsoon will set in. You can imagine how these uncovered trenches will be transformed into huge breeding grounds for mosquitoes, quite literally at your doorsteps.
There's been water filling up every time a shower happens, and then there are lots of mosquitoes. And though we live on the 2nd floor, we do have a problem right now.
Yeah, a lot of mosquitoes also everywhere there. Previously, lot of smokes, the mosquito smokes will spread. Now nobody is coming here. Lot of mosquito bites also there.
Doctors have witnessed a spurt in the number of patients suffering from mosquito-related diseases.
Of late, there had been a big outbreak. There have been quite a lot of patients coming in with fever and chills, rigors, and tests have shown a lot of positive for malarial cases. And dengue symptoms are also on the rise now. So there have been quite a lot of patients in the last maybe 1 to 2 weeks of dengue and malaria in the city.
The Chennai Corporation has assured NDTV Hindu that stagnant water will be drained out and fogging done. But that's just a symptomatic treatment of the problem. The least government agencies can do is to plan development work ahead of the monsoon and not manufacture mosquitoes themselves. In Chennai, Pratiksha Ramkumar, NDTV Hindu.
Well, as Madras Day is fast approaching, we bring you the sights, sounds and the history of our city, which was once Madras, and today we take you to one of the oldest schools in the city, always, which has been identified with Madras, but is now literally breaking down. The structure, now named a heritage building, has not seen maintenance for a long time due to lack of funds.
This school, one of the oldest in the city, was established in 1761. The madrasa was established as a center for education of the children of the royal family and for the development of Urdu, Arabic and Persian languages. Known as Umda Bagh, it was the palace of the widow of Nawab Ghulam Bahadur.
Na padchepo 53 la first class school is alla 3000 people in the school.
The situation now is sadly different. With hardly 300 students, the building in the shape of a scorpion wears a haunted look. Visitors are cautioned by the manager at every step you take inside.
It is shameful to say that there is no metro water connection and drainage connection in this school. And then what happens, there is no proper classrooms. Policy of the government, education policy of government of Tamil Nadu is that only if the strength of the school increases, they will have it.
The school has always been a center of excellence in sports and still is. They are the state champions in hockey.
நானா ஹாக்கில சேர்ந்திருக்கேன், ஸ்டேட் போயிருக்கேன், ஸ்டேட் பஞ்சாப் லெவல் போயிருக்கேன். எனக்கு இங்க படிக்கிறது நல்லா இருக்கு.
The madrasa was recently declared a heritage building and managed to escape demolition by authorities. But cries for help remain unanswered. A visit by Public Works Department officials in July brought a ray of hope to its alumni, only to have it crushed by this usual comment, lack of funds. In Chennai, Pratiksha Ramkumar, NDTV Hindu.
Right, we're slipping into a very short break right now, but up on the other side, she may be the Union Railway Minister, but Mamta Didi says she's just another clerk.
Railway Ministry is trying their best. I am nobody. I am just working as clerk.
And Roger Federer does a Robin Hood. You just don't want to be on his receiving end though.